we're going to put our last speaker up here, and this is going to be really beneficial for you from the standpoint we've taken care of your movement, taken care of your concerns about medical. Now we're going to take care of concerns about your pocketbook. So now that I've got your attention, let's pay attention to this speaker. This speaker is going to be Anna Scott. She's the Vice President and Security Officer at Savings Bank of Mendocino County. Anna has been banking for 40 years. She's holding numerous positions including teller, bookkeeper, audit consultant, global investigations and security manager, and now security officer. She has worked as a liaison with many law enforcement agencies to shut down fraud schemes. And seniors are always at the target of fraud schemes. And has also held a position of chairperson of the Arizona Bankers Association Fraud Committee, and has received numerous awards from the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the U.S. Marshal's Office for her dedication and support. Financial exploitation of our seniors continues to rise in number of incidents and dollar amounts stolen. So Anna is here to tell us about current fraud schemes, how to protect yourselves, and what you can do to believe if you have experienced fraud. So if I can get everybody's attention, please welcome Anna Scott.
All right, gonna check this, make sure you guys can hear me in the back. All right, so thank you, Jim, the Silver Foundation, also to Janine for helping get me in here. I asked if I could come help educate you about financial fraud. And as Jim mentioned, you'll see numbers published by a variety of local, state, federal resources that talk about the billions of dollars that seniors lose each year. And that number is going up, guys. So I'm here to help you know about some fraud schemes, what's the latest stuff that's going on, and also help encourage you, show you that you have some resources, all right? You think maybe you've been scammed? Talk to a friend, talk to somebody at your senior center, talk to anybody you know, talk to your banker. Don't be afraid to ask questions about it. Don't be afraid to say, I've been scammed, I lost money, all right? So this one particular scam I'm gonna tell you about, I'm seeing this 2 or 3 times a week. And I work for a small community bank. I can't imagine what it looks like at big banks, right? So 2 or 3 times a week, we have somebody call in and says, well, I had a text, I responded to the text, I clicked on the link or an email, and it took me to another site. Maybe it started with a pop-up on your computer screen that says, uh-oh, you've got a virus. It's Apple, or it's Microsoft, or McAfee, or Norton. You need to call this 800 number. Anybody ever heard of that? Seen it? It's on your computer? Okay. So if that happens, the one thing when somebody calls us, what we tell you to do is shut down your computer. Don't call that phone number. Oh, but if you did, okay, so there's a couple things that happen when you called that phone number. They probably wanted to get on your computer, do a remote link, have you download some software. Heard of that one? Yeah. When they download the software, then they're probably gonna ask you to sign in to your online banking. I know we're seniors, so we're 60-somethings, including me. But there's a bunch of us out there that still, we do online banking, right? I don't carry cash, I use cards and online banking. Okay, so if you sign into online banking, guess what? Those bad guys that just had you download that software, they've got your online banking credentials. They've talked to you, they've tried to connect to you, and they distract you, and then maybe they put up a just blank black screen for a moment while they do some fishy stuff, and they're doing HTML editor text, and they're gonna try to convince you that, oops, they just gave you too much money. right? Now what do you got to do? They want you to give it back. They're going to beg and plead and say, oh, my family's going to go hungry. If you don't get, I'll be fired. You got to give me the money back. Go down and buy some gift cards or go to your bank and send a wire. Guess what? None of that stuff makes sense, but it's happening several times a week at even a small bank. So I'm just saying, it's one of the number ones out there. Don't do it. Somebody asks you to download software and you've never met this person. They're supposedly providing you technical support help. Don't do it. Ask a friend, talk to a family member, ask your banker if you think that your personal information has been compromised. So all of that information is your name, your address, your social security number, date of birth, mother's maiden name, all sorts of information that's personal to you that can lead to identity theft, okay? So somebody starts asking you those strange questions, don't play along, hang up. They're gonna call back probably 5 more times, hang up or ignore it, block it. If you don't know how to block a number, if it's on your cell phone, if you don't know how to block a number, ask for help. And there's somebody either at the senior center or at the phone company, they'll help you learn how to block it. Because I'll tell you, these people will keep calling. I had one customer I worked with a few years ago. He had 50 phone calls from the bad actors in one day. And it kept going. And once he told me that what was going on, we sat down and got his phone blocked and made that noise go away. Unfortunately, he did buy some gift cards and send the info out. So the bad actors got some of his money. So anyway, that is probably the most current thing going on. There's a flyer in your bags that you got today when you registered. So there's information about that on here. If you're like, oh, I can't remember what that lady said, it's in here. So one of the most important things I'll tell you about that flyer is the back page. And I know you can't read it from here, but I'm just showing you back page. There's a list. These are resources, all right? So something bad happened, you want to report it, you want to get it to the authorities, it's all here. This is where you go to get some help. Your banker can help you too, just from experience, because that's what I do. If it's consumer fraud or identity theft, we try to get the right information to you. If there is identity theft, there's a number of steps to follow. Have you heard of credit bureau reports? Does anybody check theirs? Anybody out there check your report? Great, we've got one here. You should be doing that every year. And the reason that you want to do it, it's free, right? You can go online if you have access online. If you don't have access, go to a friend, family member that can help get you in there. You want to check your credit report to make sure that there aren't any accounts open in your name that you didn't authorize, right? Super important. You don't want to be getting bills from somebody that you didn't even go shopping with them. Okay, so annual credit reports, information about that is on your flyer. And I think my paper got stuck. Okay, anybody ever heard of a Publishers Clearinghouse scam? Yeah. It's like the oldest one out there. Well, I don't know. I remember seeing something like it before those started, but they're still out there. Amazing. Most people have heard of Publishers Clearinghouse scam. Now, I know the company is real. It's bad people using their logo and their name and making up a whole bunch of other stuff to try to get your attention and trick you into believing that you've won a sweepstakes prize. Okay, number 1 rule. If somebody asks you to pay for a sweepstakes, it's a scam. Stop. Do not pass go. Don't pay $200, right? Just stop. They send out a lot of letters, hard copy mail, and they'll do it, probably most of the time I see is US priority mail. So it's a specially marked envelope. It looks like it's really important. And they're sending this to you, trying to convince you that you've won a $7 million or whatever amount. They changed the amount around a little. Big sweepstakes prize. Okay, guess what? You didn't win. You shouldn't pay. Don't send any money out. But I still see those darn fake publishers' letters probably a couple times a month. So they're out there. They are being distributed. Don't fall for it. If you're not sure, once again, ask. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody else. And the reason I tell you that is something that I've learned is that the bad guys spend an awful lot of time trying to convince you to not tell anybody else. Somebody tells you don't talk to your friends, don't talk to your family, guess what? Red flag. Stop. It's not right. Okay? They tell you to tell a lie to your bank. Don't do that. And guess what? I see it a lot. It happens. People get so convinced. You just have to step back and be in the now. Take a breath. Don't be rushed. Don't be tricked that it's urgent. It's not. All right. Somebody dangles $7 million in front of you. Sometimes we lose our minds a little. It's like, yeah, that's more than my pension. I think I'd like to have that. Yeah, we would, but you got to think straight. And once again, ask if you're not sure. Okay? On those Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes, a lot of times what they'll do is send you, if you say that you can't pay, you're talking to the bad guys, they're convincing you, you're pretty sure you've won, but they need you to pay upfront money. And you don't have it to pay, right? They're going to get you some help. There's a support network. They'll get you help. And they're going to send you a check. And that check's going to be drawn on some random business. It's not Publishers Clearinghouse check. It's just some business name on it. Guess what? That check is counterfeit. And if you put a counterfeit check into your bank account, your bank might want to hold it for a couple days because that's what the rules say that they can do. It's not enough time. It's going to take 3 or 4 days, and that check is going to come back and be debited from your account because it's bad. It's not authorized. The people's signature that's on it, they're not on that account. And guess what happens to your bank balance? It goes down. We don't want that, right? We want you to hold on to your money. The reason it goes down is because the bad guys have already talked you into sending in that payment that you need to send in order to qualify to win your sweepstakes, right? Makes sense? Everybody's following along. So not a thing you want to do. Any time that you're having to send money out, you got to talk to somebody first. It's not a regular biller. It sounds too good to be true. It's a whole lot of money. Oh my gosh, here I am. I'm in Lake County and I won. Not. All right, so talk to somebody. I hope that if I leave you with anything, that's the most important thing you can do. Okay, and so the next thing that I'll share with you, what I'm hearing about, I haven't seen this firsthand myself yet, but what I'm hearing about from some IT guys across the globe, they're telling me that the latest, greatest scam is somebody contacting you to convince you to move your money out of your bank to protect it. Ever heard about that? Yeah, it's brand new. So I'm glad I'm sharing it with you today. So what they'll do is they contact the victim and tell them that they're an auditor or a law enforcement or some person of authority that has found that there's something wrong at your branch, at your bank. And they want you to move your money. We're giving you a heads up tip. Move your money to help protect it because I think you're going to lose it if you leave it there. And of course, they're way better at their sales pitch than I am, but I just know that they have enough going on that they convince you to move that money. And once you move it, Then they want you to invest it in cryptocurrency, buy gift cards, send an outgoing wire, anything that you can do to get the money to the bad guys. And they'll come up with all sorts of excuses of why that's necessary to do that. And apparently they're convincing, because I've heard that there's been a lot of money moved and lost already on this thing. Okay, and then you may have seen on the news, I noticed recently they're talking about AI, artificial intelligence, right? It is all the talk in the news. Some great stuff in the medical field, other places that it can be very, very helpful. But it also has enabled the bad actors to do some really bad stuff. So I've heard there's a phone call. They ask you a yes or no question. They get a piece of your voice. It's recorded. You've heard about this. I see you nodding. Okay. I'm glad that this isn't, fresh news for you. So something to watch out for. If it's a caller you don't recognize, you probably shouldn't pick up that call. Because now I'm thinking when I'm taking a call, they're going to ask me some questions. They're going to talk to me. And I could say, no thanks, I don't want your business. But now they've got all of that out of my voice. It's still a voice. So she said that the callers want you to say yes. And that's what we've been told. There's a whole lot more to it, though. I don't answer. They don't get my voice. Right. So she's saying that they record your voice, even if you just say hello. So we're practicing not answering. It's a question, comment. There you go. 2 bogus calls during the presentation alone. That's how fast they come in, guys. So caller ID is helpful. It's not caller ID. If we're using cell phones, smartphones, caller ID can be helpful. Yeah, so if they don't leave a message, she's saying she blocks that call. Yeah, I see some come in that actually say that it could be spam. Bottom line, if I don't recognize that phone number, and I have a lot of connections, network, other banks, other security officers, anti-money laundering, law enforcement has my cell number. It's There are a number of call centers at 505. They also can use IP software that changes the caller ID number. So they may tell you it looks like they're calling from Middletown, but guess what? They're sitting in Arkansas or some other place. I'm just making that up. Yeah, there's still some Nigerian schemes. In fact, I just talked to a postal inspector working with Secret Service. They are on a task force and are working with the authorities in Nigeria, trying to work on some of the call center scams. And there's a bunch of them in India. I'm not just saying that these are bad places. It just seemed Amsterdam's another, believe it or not. Besides being famous for the red light district, they're famous for some bad call centers. So these centers are all over the world. There are some here in the US. There's some up in Canada. I had a very successful case that shut down a $25 million scam that was in Canada. Royal Canadian Mounted Police helped us with that, and the victims got their money back. So that was a super, super deal that we worked on. Thank goodness for law enforcement agencies that are interested in working with us. I have a network of people out there. Just had somebody lose $300,000 because of the pop-up on the screen, and she believed it. Her money was wired to a retired teacher in Texas. And from there, the retired teacher, who was also a victim, he thought that he was helping people invest in cryptocurrency and that he was moving money for them. Like, why would you move their money? They should send it directly to the brokerage. He didn't get it. I'm thinking math wasn't his subject in school, but yeah, he didn't really understand that. And fortunately, I had a chance to explain it to him. not even my customer, but he listened. We found that he sent the money on to another company. It happened to be a startup LLC in South Florida. And guess where the money was? That's where it stayed. FBI went and got it, and our customer got her money back. So that's why you need to talk to your bank. The bank can help. If the money has moved, the bank might be able to help you. So don't be afraid. Talk to your banker, your family, friends, senior center. You have a great deal of resources. I was looking through the materials in your bag. There are some great resources there. So don't be afraid to ask for help. You'll get it. All right, guys. Thank you. I appreciate the comments, questions. Thank you so much to everyone for your invite to come here. Back to you, Jim.
Oh, thank you very much for that.